Conquest might be the most brutal villain we've seen so far in Invincible, but in the grand scale of the Invincible universe, he's not even at the tip of the iceberg. Let's take a look at every single person that could kill Conquest, starting from the even matchups to the straight-up effortless kills. Let's start with an honorable mention, Sinister Mark. Out of every Invincible variant, Sinister Mark is the one most likely to take down Conquest solo. He's more brutal than the Mark we know, going as far as killing his own father and cannibalizing the other Marks. Yet, even he wouldn't win. Why? Because Conquest thrives in that exact kind of chaos. The bloodier the fight, the more damage he takes, the more he enjoys it. He's not just a tank. He's a sadistic psychopath with zero morals. But what if Conquest had to face all the evil Invincible variants? Could he solo them? A bloodthirsty Conquest would absolutely tear through the first few variants. He's fast enough to 3 to 4 shot most of them. One-on-one, most Marks aren't built for the kind of instant death pace Conquest brings when he's not playing around.
So pretty. Such a waste.
The first round would be a massacre, but that's where things might shift. When all of these Invincible variants start attacking at once, Conquest would no doubt start to take damage. If they coordinate, there's a chance they could take down Conquest. Still, it would be a fight that ends in gore, exhaustion, and at least half of the Marks dead. Let's talk about a character who's even more powerful than all the Invincible variants combined. Yes, you knew this one was coming. The Battle Beast. Battle Beast was first introduced as just another sidekick, until we slowly realize that he's not only OP, but he's one of the few characters in the Invincible universe who lives for violence even more than Conquest. Battle Beast doesn't care about planetary domination. His life is driven by an intense desire to seek out and battle the strongest opponents in the universe. And he won't stop until one of them dies, preferably himself. In Season 1, Battle Beast absolutely shredded the new Guardians of the Globe, and even managed to go head-to-head with the Viltrumites that captured Nolan. The comics took it even further. Battle Beast challenges Thrag in a fight so brutal, it makes Conquest look like a warm-up. However, Battle Beast does have one slight problem. He can't fly in space. That's a massive disadvantage when fighting Viltrumites, who can maneuver freely in zero gravity. Unlike Battle Beast, Omni-Man, aka Nolan Grayson, absolutely thrives in space. Sent to Earth as part of Viltrum's expansion plan, Omni-Man played the long game. Unlike Conquest, Nolan is calculated. Where Conquest fights with brute force and bloodlust, Omni-Man fights with control and strategy. He's killed the Guardians of the Globe, slaughtered the Flaxons, and even escaped a black hole, something physically impossible. While Conquest may have the upper hand in raw stats thanks to the endless growth of the Viltrumite race, where Viltrumites never stop growing in power, getting stronger and stronger until they die, there's still a significant age gap between him and Omni-Man. This means that Conquest could very well be leagues ahead of Nolan in sheer physical power. However, it's Omni-Man's composure and adaptability that could ultimately give him the edge he needs. Their fight would be brutal and the outcome could go either way, but Omni-Man has a very real shot at killing Conquest. Conquest may be ruthless, but post-upgrade Alan is a character who can obliterate him at will. A brutal near-death encounter unleashed Alan the alien's innate strength, enabling him to exceed that of any Viltrumite. By the end of the comics, Alan is strong enough that he is easily top 5 of the universe. It would be extremely difficult to find someone who could seriously hurt him. Additionally, Alan's durability is on another level. His body has survived multiple full-force beatings from orbital explosions and near-lethal trauma, each time growing stronger. His regenerative abilities are near instantaneous, and his strength keeps adapting after every brush with death. He is built to survive what kills everyone else. Conquest might get in a few punches. He'd smirk, throw his usual taunts, maybe even land some damage. But Alan would endure it and hit back 10 times harder. And unlike Mark, Alan doesn't hesitate. He's not afraid to kill when necessary, and he knows exactly how to deal with Viltrumites. He's been studying them for most of his life. There's no reasonable scenario, one-on-one, where Conquest walks away. Now it goes without saying, early Mark stood no chance against Conquest. Their first battle, Mark got folded like laundry, face smashed, guts spilling out. The only reason he survived was sheer plot armor and Adam Eve. But fast forward to the final arcs of the comic, and Mark Grayson is a different beast entirely. Post-Viltrumite War, Mark has gone toe-to-toe with Thrag, the most powerful Viltrumite in the universe, endured unspeakable things, and witnessed entire planets get obliterated. His fighting style evolves. Mark starts killing when he has to. The old Invincible? Gone. Mark can absolutely destroy Conquest because it's already happened. In their rematch in the comics, we witness both fighters operating near their peak, and the difference between this fight and their first encounter is staggering. In their initial battle, Mark was completely outmatched, effortlessly toyed with by Conquest. His bones shattered, his body torn apart, and left in a mangled heap of his own blood and intestines. By the time of the rematch, however, Mark's changed. He's more methodical, more calculated, but Conquest is still taunting him, still treating Mark like a child. While Conquest is undeniably stronger in power and experience, it's his ego that would open the door for Mark to take the upper hand. Much like Mark, Robot has the ability to think several steps ahead of his enemies, and that strategic mind is a key factor in why he could defeat Conquest as well. Robot has shown time and time again that he's a master at planning, even when facing impossible odds. Remember, it was Robot who created and led the Guardians of the Globe, placing each member in positions where they'd be most effective. Against someone like Conquest, who thrives on sheer aggression, this is a significant advantage. But there's more. Once Robot has full control over the planet's technological systems, his potential becomes nearly limitless. Imagine what he could do if he had weapons, robots, and drones that could be aimed directly at Conquest, as well as advanced defenses that could neutralize Conquest's attacks. Force fields, EMPs, disruptor beams that could render him immobile, you name it. In the comics, we've already seen Robot use technology to enhance his own strength, and even create multiple versions of himself to handle different threats. If he can control every piece of technology on Earth, Robot is more than capable of taking out Conquest with ease. If Conquest is a warlord, then Thrag is the apex predator. He's basically a prodigy among prodigies. With the right Viltrumite genetics, training, and education, Thrag is easily the most powerful character in the entire Invincible universe. It's important to understand that Thrag's strength isn't just about physical prowess, it's also about his experience and leadership. He was born to lead and has spent countless years honing his combat skills and his mind. Unlike Conquest, who's driven merely by a singular, unrelenting thirst for battle, Thrag has the intellect to match his power. In what is widely considered one of the greatest fights in the comics, Thrag goes head-to-head with Battle Beast. Despite Battle Beast giving it everything he has and nearly killing Thrag, Thrag still wins, gutting Battle Beast alive. But that's not all. Later on in the comics, Thrag does the unthinkable. He fights Invincible inside the sun. Yes, inside the sun. This is the climax of their rivalry, and it takes place in the heart of a literal star because there's nowhere else in the galaxy strong enough to contain the destruction. So I think it's no surprise when I say he can snack on Conquest any time of the day. Now, Thrag isn't the only one who can deliver a god-tier kill. The final character on our list, Adam Eve, is far more than meets the eye. In the Adam Eve special, we get a glimpse of her true power. Superhuman strength and telekinesis aside, Eve was experimented on in the womb, and as a result, she can manipulate matter on a molecular level. This ability is so powerful that it has the potential to change reality itself. In her first season 3 fight against Conquest, Eve gets turned into a donut before unlocking her true potential and skinning Conquest alive. You see, Eve has a mental limiter on her powers, something that keeps her abilities in check under normal circumstances. But here's the thing, Eve doesn't always have access to this power. To reach this devastating level, she has to be pushed to her breaking point. In a direct one-on-one against Conquest, Eve would most likely have to suffer death again in order to break her mental block and access her full power. Yes, she would be instantly revived, but Adam Eve would still be forced to experience the pain of death all over again. But when that limiter breaks, the full scope of her abilities is unleashed. The level of power that allows her to erase Conquest at will. Or worse, manipulate his molecules and atomic structure, turning Conquest into any object with a single thought.